They scanned Earth 3 times. No fleets, no shields, no defenses. The Empire marked the planet harmless. They never asked why humanity had abandoned its homeworld so completely. Because the answer was buried far below the surface, and it was waking up. The Galactic Empire did not conquer worlds with hatred, it conquered them with certainty. Every species was reduced to numbers, population, industrial output, military resistance, and when Earth finally appeared in their archives, the conclusion was simple: humanity had lost. Centuries earlier, Earth had burned under orbital fire, cities were erased, oceans boiled. The survivors fled into space aboard whatever ships still worked, scattering across the galaxy as refugees, laborers, and forgotten veterans. The Empire never followed. Why would it? A broken species was no longer a threat. Earth was left behind, a dead planet circling a quiet star, until the day the Empire returned, not to conquer, but to claim the ruins. Imperial warships emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their arrival silent and overwhelming. Thousands of vessels filled Earth's orbit, blotting out the stars like a metallic storm. Fleet Overseer Veilcore studied the tactical display with boredom. Confirm status of the planet. Sensors swept across Earth. The results were exactly what the Empire expected. No energy shields. No orbital platforms. No active weapons. Only fractured continents, collapsed megacities, and the faint radiation scars of an old, finished war. Planet classified as non-defensive, an officer reported. Human presence negligible, Veilcore nodded. Proceed with resource extraction. Harvest vessels descended toward the surface. The Empire intended to strip what remained: rare metals, ancient tech, anything of value hidden beneath the ruins. To them, Earth was just another corpse. They never noticed the anomaly at first. Deep beneath the planet's crust, far below the ruins of humanity's greatest cities, dormant systems received a signal. Not from space. From time, a counter reached zero. Ancient reactors designed to sleep for centuries began drawing power. Not efficiently, not cleanly, but reliably. Human engineers had never trusted elegant designs, they trusted redundancy. On the Imperial flagship, a junior sensor officer frowned. Overseer, I'm detecting low-level energy fluctuations. Veilcore didn't look up. Residual geothermal activity. Ignore it, but the readings didn't fade. They multiplied. Seismic waves rippled across Earth's surface. Fault lines cracked open where there had been none before. Mountains shuddered as something colossal shifted below. Then the planet itself changed. Across continents, massive structures tore through the crust, black, angular towers rising from the depths like buried giants clawing their way free. Ancient launch silos opened. Long-dead satellites ignited, snapping into precise orbital alignment. The silence of Earth shattered. Energy output increasing exponentially, an officer shouted. Veilcore stood now. That's impossible. No species leaves something like this behind. But humanity had, because the machine awakening beneath Earth was never meant to win a war. It was meant to end one. Project designation. Prototype A0 codename. HFY, a planetary war system designed during humanity's final days, when defeat was inevitable and survival uncertain. A machine built not to defend Earth, but to make sure no one ever claimed it. The first weapon fired without warning. A beam of concentrated force lanced upward from Earth's surface, punching clean through an Imperial cruiser. The ship split in half, both sections detonating before alarms could even sound. Then another beam, then 5. Panic spread across the Imperial fleet. Shields up, full evasive maneuvers. Too late. The prototype did not fire with precision, it fired with intent. Human targeting algorithms locked onto threats and refused to let go. Destroyed ships were hit again. Confirmation strikes burned through wreckage until nothing remained. The Empire had never faced a weapon like this, because no rational species designed systems that assumed everything else would fail, but humans had. A distorted transmission suddenly flooded every Imperial channel. Old, grainy, unmistakably human. If you are receiving this message, Earth has already fallen. The prototype continued to rise, fully awakened now. Power surged across the planet as its systems synchronized. Earth was no longer silent, it was armed. Fire cliffhanger, the Empire believed Earth was defenseless. They were wrong. And as the prototype completed its activation sequence, The galaxy was about to learn why humanity never bothered to look strong. The Galactic Empire did not panic easily. It had crushed empires older than humanity's entire recorded history. It had watched stars die and civilizations beg. One unexpected weapon, even one as violent as Earth's prototype, did not end wars. It changed tactics. Fleet-wide command, Overseer Veilcore barked. Full combat posture, this planet is no longer classified as inert. Imperial war doctrine snapped into place. Cruisers spread into layered formations. Shield harmonics adjusted. Long-range artillery platforms powered up, their weapons designed to pulverize planetary defenses from beyond retaliation range. The Empire would do what it always did: overwhelm, erase, move on. Orbital cannons fired. Streams of antimatter and plasma rained down toward Earth, bright enough to turn night into day. Entire continents disappeared beneath firestorms as the Empire unleashed the kind of force reserved for living worlds. Project HFY absorbed the impact. Planetary shields flared, not as a single barrier, but as a web of overlapping fields. When one layer failed, another caught the blow. When terrain collapsed, underground structures compensated, rerouting power and mass. Human engineering did not seek perfection. It expected failure and planned for it. Shield degradation at 20%, an Imperial officer shouted. Veilcore narrowed his eyes. Keep firing. But something was wrong. The prototype was not merely defending, it was studying them. Each Imperial volley was answered faster than the last. Weapon frequencies were countered. Firing solutions adjusted mid-battle. What should have taken hours of analysis was happening in seconds. This construct is adapting, a strategist whispered. It's learning our doctrine. Veilcore felt something unfamiliar tighten in his chest. The Empire had always been the teacher. Earth answered again, not with beams this time, but with silence. Imperial sensors went blind across entire sections of the fleet. Communications dropped. Navigation systems reported impossible vectors. Human code poured through Imperial networks like a disease. Not clean, not elegant, but brutally effective. It came from everywhere. Old satellites. Derelict stations, debris fields drifting since humanity's fall. And then, from beyond the system, signals lit up across the void, human signals. Scattered descendants of Earth, engineers, smugglers, miners, mercenaries, received the same ancient activation ping. A message older than the Empire itself. Home is calling. Human ships began to appear, not fleets, individuals, a freighter reinforced with armor plates, a mining vessel converted into a missile barge. An ancient colony transport carrying weapons instead of people. They jumped into orbit without formation, without coordination, and without hesitation. They are entering an active combat zone, an officer shouted. Veilcore stared in disbelief. These ships are unarmed, he said. What are they doing? The answer came too late. The Empire deployed its final solution. A planet breaker. A weapon forbidden by Imperial law, reserved only for total annihilation. Its massive barrel aligned with Earth energy building to catastrophic levels. Once fired, nothing, no shield, no prototype would survive. Project HFY calculated the outcome. Earth would die. The prototype paused. Then human ships accelerated, straight toward the planet breaker, not away, not evasive, toward it. They're charging the weapon, someone whispered. Veilcore understood then. These humans were not reinforcements. They were fuel. Every ship destroyed in the beam's path would disrupt the firing sequence. Every impact would destabilize the weapon's output. Milliseconds mattered, and humans were willing to spend lives to buy them. For the first time since activation, HFY changed its internal priority, from extermination to protection. Power diverted, shields thickened. The prototype began coordinating with the incoming human vessels, adjusting trajectories, timing impacts, synchronizing sacrifice. This was not a machine fighting alone. This was humanity, fragmented, broken, scattered, choosing to stand together. The planet breaker fired, and humanity met it head-on. Cliffhanger human ships vanished in blinding light as they collided with the beam, one after another, each loss buying seconds. And as the planet killer began to overload, the Empire realized something far too late. Earth was no longer fighting to survive. It was fighting to end the war. Human ships burned, not metaphorically. Literally, engines overloaded beyond safety margins. Hulls glowed white-hot as they slammed into the planet breaker's firing path. Some ships disintegrated before impact. Others made it close enough to tear chunks out of the weapon's energy stream. The beam wavered. That was all Project ASHWAKE needed. Deep beneath Earth's surface, ancient reactors screamed as they pushed past design limits. Safeties disengaged, by design. Human engineers had never believed in machines that refused orders. If it could break, it could be pushed further. ASHWAKE fired, not one beam, thousands. Every remaining weapon platform, every orbital emitter, every ground-based cannon unleashed everything they had at the planet breaker's core. Imperial shields collapsed in layers. Hull plating vaporized. Structural members twisted and failed as energy feedback surged through the weapon's frame. On the Imperial flagship, Overseer Veilcore was thrown against his command dais as alarms howled. Power instability. Core breach imminent. Retreat. All ships retreat, but the order came too late. The planet breaker detonated. The explosion wasn't loud, it was absolute. A white sphere of energy expanded outward, swallowing Imperial ships whole. Vessels vanished, erased so completely that sensors struggled to confirm they had ever existed. When the light faded, half the Imperial fleet was gone. The rest were broken, scattered, fleeing. No pursuit followed. ASHWAKE did not chase enemies. It was not built for conquest. As the surviving Imperial ships limped toward hyperspace, Earth hung beneath them, scarred, burning, but intact. The prototype began powering down. Across the system, human ships, those that remained, drifted silently. No victory celebrations, no cheers, only names. Names of ships that would never return. Names of people who had chosen to come home one last time. Veilcore stood alone on his bridge as his flagship escaped the system. He replayed the battle again and again, searching for the moment where the Empire had lost control. It wasn't when the prototype fired. It wasn't when the fleet panicked. It was when humanity chose sacrifice over survival. The Empire had never prepared for that. Before Earth disappeared from sensors, a final transmission reached every Imperial channel. Clear, steady. Human. We were never the strongest species. We were never the smartest. But when you corner us, we protect what matters. And we never stop coming back. Project ASHWAKE shut itself down. Returning to dormancy. Not destroyed, not deactivated. Waiting. Earth was no longer a silent world. It was a warning. In the years that followed, Imperial doctrine changed. Exploration fleets were recalled. Invasion protocols rewritten. A new rule was added to the Galactic archive, one that overrode all others. Never assume humanity is defenseless. Because if Earth ever activated its prototype again, it would mean the galaxy had forgotten the lesson. Final ending, they thought Earth was defenseless. Then the prototype woke up. And the Empire learned what humanity does when it has nothing left to lose.